The USL returns to HEB Park in week number 4. It's the start of a 5-game homestand at the gorgeous new home of the Toros. It's RGVFC taking on a fellow playoff team a year ago, the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs. Hello, everybody. Welcome, along with former MLS attacking midfielder Albert Munoz. Mike Watts, glad to have you aboard. And Albert, when you think about good midfield play, Colorado Springs looks to Ronnie Argueta, their captain on and off the field, provide their spark.
Absolutely. This captain, he's a playmaker, midfielder, right footer. He's very versatile with the ball, technically sound. Very excited to watch this 5'8" player attacking forward as a former young player of the season in 2016.
On the other side, Rio Grande Valley looks to Ruben Luna, maybe the next star in Houston for their goal-scoring expertise. He's got a great record of scoring.
Luna, definitely. 7 goals in 2016. He's a target player. He's a forward. He's Mexican. He has a lot of power, passion. I mean, looking forward to watch him in this game today.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. And for Rio Grande Valley, they make 3 changes, one due to the red card suspension to Victor Garza. Memo Rodriguez and Taylor Hunter are down from Houston. Who stands out in this 11?
Well, we have Camilo Monroy, Memo Rodriguez, Escalante. We have a lot of Hispanic flair. Very excited to see the technical abilities of these players combined in this 4-3-3 formation.
On the other side, another 4-3-3 for Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and they've got Aaron King up top. No changes from the group that started their last game, a 1-1 draw with San Antonio.
Right, so this 4-3-3 formation, we're going to have Argueta link up with King up front. It should be a deadly combination along with the outside wingers tracking up to the flanks to make these powerful crosses for King at the top.
Casher, a guy who played for Montreal in past years on that left wing. We're just minutes away from kickoff in the Rio Grande Valley. It's the Toros of RGV taking on the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs next. Kickoff nearing in the Rio Grande Valley. HEB Park is the site of our Week 4 matchup, this Wednesday night matchup between RGV, Toros, and Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Mike Watts, Albert Munoz back with you. We're about ready to kick this off as these two teams come in both in search of 3 points for different reasons. For Colorado Springs, they don't have a win yet on the field. Their win came by way of a Tulsa forfeit week 1 due to an ineligible player, and Colorado Springs is going to try and go on the road and make RGV struggle in the first of a 5-game homestand where they desperately need to come away with a lot of points.
Colorado definitely needs a win. They've been struggling obviously to get that first W in the books for the season. As a team, when you're coming in and you've had obviously the struggle in the first couple of weeks, you want to make sure you lock that win in so you have that confidence for the next couple of games. So as we see these players starting to get loose here with the ball, I'm excited to see both these teams come in with a lot of flair today and a lot of technical abilities between these technical players, and hopefully we'll have a good show.
RGV takes the ball away but turns it over in the midfield. Touched ahead by Argueta, but eventually the ball finds Kim, and it's back into this back line for Colorado Springs that returns 75% of its starters year over year from a team that last year was among the best defensive back lines in the league. Knocked ahead by Eric Bird. He's had a terrific start to the season. Now Memo Rodriguez. Argueta. And now Tae-Song Kim, 23 out of South Korea, who signed just before opening day last year. Here's Abusi. Cameroonian, 6'4" as a defender. You don't like to run into those, do you?
No, absolutely not. It's scary. It's interesting to see, Mike, what kind of formation we're going to have in the middle of the park for both these teams. It's going to be a battle for the ball. The technical side will come out on the side of RGV as well as Colorado. On RGV's side, we have, like I mentioned earlier, Monroy and Escalante out on the flanks. They're going to be tucking in the middle with Bird to try to combine some play to look for Luna. I'm expecting a lot of creativity from this side here.
Luna was the player fouled. He had stripped the ball away as well. And a free kick opportunity for Rio Grande Valley in the 3rd minute. Memo Rodriguez drives the ball towards the net, and it's caught by Dan Jackson for Colorado Springs. Sat behind David Legoric last year. He moved on to St. Louis, and for now, Jackson is the man. This is his 3rd start in 4 games since the opener.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of RGV set places today. A lot of centers from Rodriguez, from Escalante, even from Monroy, looking for the head of 6-foot striker Luna.
Charlie Award, Ironman last year. Ironman since he got to RGV. He's played every single minute as Monroy has that bounce off his bicep.
I could already tell, Mike, from that, based on that last pass from Ward, he's going to be that workhorse, that center midfielder, that two-way player that's going to feed Bird and Luna up top. So it's interesting to see how he develops throughout the first half.
Cross-field pass from Magalhaes is a little bit too far.
Mike, we've spoken before how important it is to have a beautiful pitch to play on. From where I'm sitting here, this grass, this pitch, it's immaculate. It's a large field as well, so a lot of these players are going to have plenty of room to control the ball and show their creativity.
And sometimes we see smaller fields, we see turf, but this new RGV field, the stadium all the way down to the grass itself is as good as it gets. Is moving ahead RGV, and stepping in was Abusi. It's the Toros who keep the ball. The turn from Escalante. Escalante sends a drive, kept off the line, off the post, and picked off by Jackson.
Sweet turn there by Escalante. I mean, we're going to see a lot of him throughout this game. Talented left footer. He's going to be developing on the right flank. He's going to try to cut in every single time he has an opportunity to take a shot on goal, as we just saw. Great stuff so far.
Escalante getting his first appearance in Major League Soccer last week against the New England Revolution. Little did he know when he received all the texts from RGV teammates he had last year that he'd be playing here on Wednesday night.
He's coming off at a high. I'm sure his confidence level is skyrocketing right now. When you come back from playing top tier league and you come back, obviously you're going to come back with more momentum, with speed, with pace. So that's great to see for RGV.
Escalante a moment ago.
Great development there. Maybe he should have taken a shot maybe seeked for the second post. I mean, obviously he has his first shot. Obviously he's got the nerves in the first 5 minutes. But I'm sure as the game develops, he'll have a better opportunity to maybe think a little bit more on that shot. But great attempt so far.
Chris James unable to keep it, to now winding in to Camilo Monroy. Kim leveled, and there's the foul. They tried to let that play through to King, but boy, there was some serious contact there.
Typically in the midfield, the first few minutes of the game, you're going to see a lot of this physical rough play because you want to show your presence. You want to make sure you show the opposing team that you're here, you're ready to play. So this is very common in the first few minutes especially.
Ball bounces back to Kai Green. Here's Charlie Ward. Can RGV make something happen in these opening minutes? Monroy lost his handle. And back come Colorado Springs. It's James, his pocket picked.
Mike, could you agree that the first 6 minutes so far has been full possession of RGV?
Almost entirely.
Entirely, right? They're holding the ball well, they're opening up, they're getting all their players to touch on the ball, getting familiar with the pitch, really allowing for Colorado to step up to try to open up and maybe press them so they can open up space in the back so they can maybe create an attacking play.
So if you're Colorado Springs right now, certainly getting the ball in this position helps, as a move in by Cashier and poked away by Kai Green. What are you trying to do to stop a team that's possessing at the level that RGV has in the first now 7 minutes?
Sure. Pressing, defensive play, increase the pressure, try to get the ball and do the same thing that RGV is doing to you. So hopefully you get possession on the ball, redirect the ball across the field, change the play, slow it down, get everyone involved so that everyone obviously gets that first touch in. Some of the players haven't touched the ball, so it's very important in the first few minutes.
RGV seemed like they had a run out, but it breaks down quickly enough, and maybe now an opportunity for Colorado Springs, although contact again, this time towards Ronnie Argueta. RGV takes over again, it's Rodriguez. Leading point man last year, scored 6, assisted 7, number 17 in orange. Your point, Opta suggests the possession is about 64-36 right now. RGV
Yeah, it shows.
Trying to be a little more dangerous with it, though.
Yeah, I mean, you've only had one shot. It's only 8 minutes, but at the same time, I think this is crucial that they've gained the momentum in the first part of the game. Players like Monroy, we have a lot of youthful players, a lot of energized 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds. They're about to just unleash themselves to maybe create more offensive plays. But definitely, we would like to see more shots on goal from them based on the fact that they have so much possession so far.
Junior Gonzalez, his first year as the head man of the Toros team. He coached under Wilmer Cabrera at Chivas USA. Cabrera was the head coach here last year and moved up to Houston when they made a coaching change. Went to an interim for a while, but eventually Wilmer Cabrera stood out from the rest and got the job in Major League Soccer once again. Green there to tap it back for RGV. 10th minute scoreless between these two sides at HEB Park. Colorado Springs, a win and 2 draws. Their win came by way of forfeit by Tulsa in week 1, and RGV a win and 2 losses so far, 3 points.
Tactically speaking, it seems that every single touch that they make is perfect, it's correct, and every single ball goes to the player's feet. They know where they're moving. This seems that they're all set plays, they've been training, but this is an exciting play.
Escalante cut it back across the grain, and it's handled by Jackson.
Second time he does it in the game already. So as we were seeing Escalante cut in the ball, fake to his right, takes a shot with his left. Obviously, a little less momentum than he expected, but potentially this is the type of play he's going to be showing us the rest of the game.
Escalante, a guy who's gotten a lot of opportunity to impress with the first team in Houston and is currently on loan to RGV. Is on the ball now, Escalante.
Crucial for a player like Escalante, who is going from MLS to USL, USL to MLS. He's getting that experience, he's getting the games, the reps. Obviously, as a young player, that's what you ultimately want constantly every week.
King is running down the middle, pressure knocking Shane Malcolm away from the ball, and eventually comes to Magalhaes. Bird playing it back, and RGV takes over again. Monroy gliding by Burt. Trying to step back. Burt still providing that push.
Yeah, you see the creativity from Monroy, having experience playing in the Colombian League. Players like that, who's 18 years old, he has so much potential for the future, so much creativity, and is skillful. It's exciting to see this youth movement in these leagues. Obviously, all these players that have previous experience in professional leagues, bringing it all together for USL, it's really going to flourish this league moving forward.
Well, you've got the young ones who have experience, but then you have guys like Didier Drogba coming over to Phoenix today. That's a different kind of experience.
That was great news to hear that in the news feed today.
We'll
Exciting
talk about
stuff.
it. Yeah, at halftime. Memo Rodriguez going back to Ward. King checking back. Bird there to intercept.
Colorado's really having a tough time to hold the ball. I mean, as you can tell, they make 2 or 3 touches, and all of a sudden you have RGV players coming in, taking it, or mistouching it. Then they retain the ball, and you have maybe 5 consecutive plays or touches. So the possession's clear. I mean, we really need Colorado to step up to actually have a chance to maybe get some opportunities on goal the first half.
There's pressure still coming there on the near touch line, and eventually Josh Phillips has that get out off Memo Rodriguez. I spoke with the staff over Colorado Springs in the last couple of days, and they talked about all the new players, in particular on the attacking side. King really the only forward that comes back. You look at Malcolm on the right, and then you've got Massa Casher on the opposite side on the left. They're still just trying to get a feel for each other at this point. That's not easy either.
The cohesion is not there yet, right? I mean, essentially you want some maybe 5-10 games in to maybe feel comfortable with each other. Maybe not that much, maybe 2 to 5 games. But at the same time, you're comparing a team that's been playing together since last season with the core of their players. Even in the last couple of games, they've been playing together. So it's a huge difference compared to RGV from Colorado Springs.
To the Switchbacks' credit, they're a team that still have 5 points from their first 3 games, despite the fact that you wouldn't say they were totally cohesive yet.
Correct. Well, you have King, who came through with a spectacular goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that usually helps.
It doesn't hurt. As Escalante trying to fire the ball into the left wing. It's down to Ward.
Ward doing exactly what he needs to do. So he had just calmed that ball down. He controlled it perfectly, set it up for his teammate. That's what we need from Ward, consistently looking for the actual creative players so they could actually create it to Luna and potentially get a goal, shot on goal.
How about the attacking midfielder, Albert Munoz, giving credit to a holding mid?
Well, he's always my best friend. Believe me, he was my best friend throughout my career.
Played to the foot of Luna. He's been a Toro killer. Pardon, a switchback killer for the Toros, picking up 3 goals in 2 games. Luna's been tremendous against this particular opponent. Played wide for Escalante. An extra pass to Green. He's got space to serve, and he does. To the top of the 18, Bird got a piece. And the Switchbacks able to clear the pressure.
Great development play by RGV, but I would still say that they have too much space. Players are receiving the ball, they're having 4 or 5 seconds in between to actually have the thought process to create some plays. That last developed play that got reached Escalante on the far right, I mean, Bird had all the time in the world to turn, so maybe Colorado needs to really press higher, faster, stronger to really cut back on these plays. If not, they're going to have a field day on their shots.
16th minute, RGV in Colorado Springs. It's been all Toros thus far. The Switchbacks trying to find their footing. Last year, RGV took both meetings between these two teams, 2-0 and 2-1. Maybe the best opportunity thus far. Ball played across the face of goal by Casher, and there was nobody there. Leak out Taylor Hunter will watch it out. Casher, maybe the most impressive thus far. Goal of the week earlier in the year already.
That was very important on Casher's part. I mean, at least he showed that there's some life in the first 50 minutes from Colorado. He created something. He turned. He created almost a shot on goal. They need to continue to give him the ball because he seems to have the most momentum so far, along with King in the Colorado Springs side. Green is
pleasant move to get the ball away from Cash Air.
Oh, yeah. That was a great play.
Off the head of Suggs, and it stays with RGV.
Going back to that play from Green, it's always pleasant to see a defender be technically sound. It's very rough to see a defender that can't dribble out of tight spaces. That's very dangerous for a team. But when you have defenders doing these type of plays, I mean, that really shows the level of these players.
Bouncing ball back, Suggs hits it, and it's Memo Rodriguez who clips it in. RGV takes advantage of a disastrous switchback mistake. 1-0.
Cheeky play from Memo Rodriguez. It comes out of nowhere. He's expecting the ball to be played back to the goalie, and look at this, he beats it. Oh, great finish by Memo Rodriguez. That's just called cheekiness, in my opinion. He read that play, Mike. He expected that ball being played by the goalie. That was a miscommunication on the defense side. Great finish, though.
Well, Memo Rodriguez gets his first MLS appearance last week against New England Revolution, and now he's back on the score sheet for RGVFC.
Talk about confidence.
How difficult was that finish for Memo Rodriguez? Because it looks so unbelievably simple, but it seems like it could so very easily go wrong.
You know why it was so difficult? Because the ball was still high in the air. So if he would have jumped up and popped it up, most likely he would have gone over the goal. But he jumped just enough to hit it with his instep, hit it down. He kept it obviously low, and it was just a tap. Sometimes you just need a sweet tap on the ball, and it goes right in. Great finish, though.
And a 1-0 lead for Rio Grande Valley in the 18th minute.
Deserving goal.
He forced the effort, didn't he?
They all did. They've been playing great possession leading up, creating these dangerous chances, so absolutely they deserve a goal.
Fans making their displeasure heard. Call behind the play. Rio Grande Valley last year, tremendous team on both sides of the ball. They had the best goal differential in the West, as Memo Rodriguez getting his just desserts from the public address announcer as well. And if you're Junior Gonzalez, this is what you're looking for. Last year this team was expansion. They weren't supposed to go this far, but now you bring most of that team back, and there's a little more pressure to actually get to the next level in the playoffs. You don't want to be a one and done like the 2 seed they were last year.
Sure, and also it's very important to see and admit that most of these players that are bouncing back and forth from the top tier league to USL and back and forth and getting that MLS experience, coming back and playing the USL, that's so important for the development of these players, because sometimes when you play as a youngster and at a high level, but you're obviously a sideline player, you're not going to have the momentum. So this is very important for these young players to have these reps, these games. They get to practice everything they want to put into the field. It's crucial for the league.
There's the man who made that back pass with his head. Perhaps Dan Jackson could have gotten there earlier. It'll belong to Colorado Springs. First minute, cross in, a chance for Colorado Springs. And King, that was a delicate back heel pass.
Yeah, you want to see that from King. I mean, he's going to bring that experience. I mean, King's been around in so many different teams for so many years now. He's a veteran at this point, being 32 years old. He brings a lot of different type of creativity up front. So they really need to find him in his feet. Hopefully he has a time to turn, but it seems that RGV's defense is playing so strong that it's very difficult to see him today.
Malcolm is nearly deked out of his cleats. This is an amazing run that's finally broken up from Monroy.
What did I mention earlier about Monroy? The flair you're going to see from this Colombian. Monroy brings that to the table. He's going to bring that unexpected cheeky play, and that spin, that turn, that pull. I mean, that's what you learn from playing futsal, from playing street soccer, pickup games. A lot of our players here growing up, they don't get to do that. This player in Colombia happens to have been playing in the street since he was 5 years old until he's 15 probably. And at that point, I'm sorry, you have a little bit of an edge when it comes to these small-sided moves. So that's what he just showed here, and it's great to watch.
He's only 18 years old, and you basically can look back at the start of your MLS career and draw parallels from the size and the nationality and the just all the way down the list. Munoz and Monroy. It's Colorado Springs. That ball takes a hop right into the waiting hands of Angoitia. That's a rare touch for him. He hasn't been very busy.
Mike, I'm going to be very modest here. Monroy is so much better than I am. He, at that age, already doing these moves in these leagues, obviously I wasn't even close to making a move. I didn't have that confidence. He could tell he has experience. I came straight out of high school. It's very different. So just to compare the types of leagues and the development you have as a player, when I was 18 years old, I was coming out of high school soccer. Right? So I had the opportunity to go into the draft and play and have the opportunities to play in minutes. But these players at that age already show the experience of 5-year veterans. So the contrast in the last 15, 20 years in the development of the leagues is night and day.
And for you, would you have benefited? Now, I know you had the opportunity to get loaned out and get some minutes, but nothing like this where you have a team a couple hours south from your franchise and be able to go down and start a full professional season.
Correct. Very different. That was more of like, let's go play for 3 months, try to get some games in, and then maybe we'll call you back. It was one of those situations. But it wasn't. I did come back and I did play. But this type of scenario, you're constantly moving, shuffling back and forth. So you're in the mix. You feel like you're part of it. And that's huge, and that's very important for the development of these players.
Bird sprays it up again for Monroy. What can he do this time? He plays the ball back towards the middle of the box. Bird goes back to retrieve it and curls across the face of goal. Escalante bringing the ball down, going off of Suggs, but ultimately Escalante was the last to touch it. Ball belongs to the Switchbacks. And there's Steve Tritchew. Familiar face to you, huh?
Oh yeah, I was just mentioning to you, Mike, my former teammate at Tampa Bay Mutiny. Great guy, Tritchew. I remember, I'm very fond of him. I mean, he was a great mentor for the young players. He led by example. He was a great captain. He looks exactly the same, which is great because he's so fit.
So do you.
Yeah. So I wish him the best. I haven't seen him in years, though.
Steve Tritchew, and I think you said before the game when we talked about your experience with him, because he was in his mid-30s, you're still in your teens at that time, and you said he was always meant to be a coach.
Oh yeah, I mean, straight arrow, serious player, barely cracked a smile. He was all work. Hey, but he was a great leader. So I mean, power to him. He's doing great. I'm happy to see him on the field there.
Third place in each of the last 2 seasons in the United Soccer League's Western Conference at the helm for Colorado Springs. They're hoping this year, with a lot of new faces, they might be able to jump over the young bloods like Junior Gonzalez in this RGV team. Finished a spot over them last year in the USL Cup playoffs.
Mike, 25 minutes in, the game has not changed. The possession is clear. RGV is outplaying Colorado Springs. They're holding the ball well. They're just, at this point, they're practicing, it seems. They're just practicing their plays. They're really developing their creativity. Colorado really needs to step it up when it comes to possession to try to get a chance here. Jackson
got a ball with a little too much heat, and he pops it off into the near side touchline. Rio Grande Valley takes over. The throw in from Green. The turn from Luna. That's dangerous across the face of goal. Winds wide. It's a chance for Monroy to show off that flair again. Ward looking for Luna, who has 3 of the 4 goals for RGV against Colorado Springs in their 2-game history. And here comes Bird into the box, plays it wide, and this is launched towards the net. It's just over. Monroy coming closer and closer to that first goal.
Unexpected, but not unexpected from the young player. Check this plays out. The ball comes out, he traps it, it's bouncing, he sees an opportunity, he takes a shot. It's a whipping ball, it's a volley. Those type of volleys are a great opportunity to get a power shot behind it. So power to him, I mean, no pun intended, but that was a great shot. Interesting player here, Monroy.
Can you believe this is his second start with the team?
Wow.
His first start was against Oklahoma City Energy. That was a 1-0 lead for the Toros. As that game finished 10-9. A conceded penalty where OKC didn't score, followed by a conceded penalty by OKC to RGV. Luna did score. And, well, maybe the most impressive thing is that Monroy has shown his star already.
At 18, I think he's justifying his starting, and I think he's merited another start moving forward.
A 1 or 2 at this rate, one would think. Here's James out of New Zealand. Steve Tritchu feeling he was maybe the best addition they made in this offseason. One that saw several key players exit stage left. David Legoric, the goalkeeper. Ibiaga in central defense. Mike Seth, the wing. All hit by Suggs, kept by Argueta. Chris James will have a go! And he puts that beyond the net, not a play.
That final shot by James, Argueta is the workhorse in the middle. He's a creative player, right? Every single time he gets the ball, which hasn't been much so far, he creates a dangerous play. So I would say Colorado Springs really needs to get Argueta the ball, try to get him to transition, give him space. Obviously, he'll create his own, but he needs to ultimately unleash some passes towards Malcolm or King up front so that Colorado Springs has a chance to create some goals here.
And Albert, he's talked about in the past, he now needs to see plays happen 3 or 4 moves in advance, as opposed to when you come up in high school or in college, you get to just take each move as it comes because the speed isn't as quick.
Correct. So it's a combination between having vision, right, in soccer. If you have vision, which
I don't, you did.
I mean, we could always compare the visionary play to a Colombian national like Pibe Valderrama, like we spoke, a former mutiny player. He was the same type of player. He would see the field and he knew where to pass the ball 3 or 4 times before he received the ball, 3 or 4 steps ahead of the game. So Argueta needs to obviously show that he knows how to do that because he hasn't so far. Maybe he's touched the ball once or twice. He's had some creative plays, but besides that, he really needs to show that because that would make a huge difference for Colorado Springs.
How do you learn that? Do you learn that?
That's experience, but at the same time, it's quickness, it's quick thinking. It's obviously having repetitively practiced that type of scenario as a youngster. So it's tough to say if you learned it or not. But I would say I had some vision growing up. I had a through ball down packed. I always liked to be an assist man as well in my youth levels. So I would say that as I was 10 years old, I was already doing that. So in reality, you kind of are born with it in soccer, but you develop it as well.
Cashier was arguing to have advantage played by William Hale, our referee. Israel Lara and Jesus Aguilar are the assistants. The play came back, and James will have the opportunity to serve across. From this position, how do you make this most dangerous now? Because Colorado Springs hasn't had much of the ball, but they could even the play right here.
Absolutely. Let's look for the tallest header. Let's look for the tallest player. I think King is an absolute threat there. I mean, I'm sure he's great with the head. An in-swinger towards the goal, it would be dangerous for the goalie. But let's see how this gets capitalized.
There it was, but didn't put nearly enough on it to find his target. Now they're looking to move quickly as had a player flash for the ball in King. And back goes Josh Phillips, West Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Year at Gonzaga. Maybe not known for their college soccer prowess at the level of their basketball prowess, and yet Connor Bevins also came from there as this ball winds all the way towards the end line and did get out. Angoitia will have a goal kick for Rio Grande Valley, who score in the 18th minute. Memo Rodriguez outwitting the back line, winning a header and tapping the ball wide and into the net of the goalkeeper Jackson. And now here's that pressure that you were looking for from Colorado Springs to try and take the ball away from RGV, and it works.
Right, when you have some pressure, obviously it creates opportunities for the opposing team, so they should definitely keep that up. Argueta seems to be more engaged. They're tackling the ball, intercepting, getting King involved. If we see more of that, we'll have a different game second half.
King spins, turns. That takes an odd hop. It did take a deflection. King wins the corner for Colorado Springs, although it looked like he had been gunning for a little more than that.
He scored a similar goal. I mean, he shot with his left, which is not his, obviously, strength foot, but he, in the last game, he turned with his left foot and he shot with his left foot, so he scored. So very similar lead up from that last play there for King. I guess this little break came in proper time for RGV. I mean, they had lost a little bit of momentum. Colorado Springs has stepped up their pace in the last couple of minutes, so a little break here on a foul, it never hurts.
Into the 34th minute, Rio Grande Valley has several players on loan down from Houston today. Plenty of attacking players. Escalante, season-long loan. Memo Rodriguez down for the day after getting his USL, his first MLS appearance, rather, and getting another USL goal today.
Future's bright, Mike. The future's bright for the leagues in general.
And we talk about how great an academy Dallas has, but having RGV now right on this U.S.-Mexican border in Rio Grande Valley just opens the door even more for Houston to try and get into that arms race.
Definitely. A lot of young Mexican blood. A lot of these youthful, energized players really making a difference in our leagues.
Hit across by Ward.
Notice, Mike, how RGV is opening up the field. Notice how their backline, every single time they have possession, they are opening complete wide, the width of the field to take advantage of these game changers, field changes, whatever you want to call it. So they have essentially deflated the pace of the game. They hold the ball well. They keep doing it, so meaning obviously any chance they have now moving forward, they're most likely going to create an opportunity to score.
Playing a long ball, trying to test this defense of Colorado Springs. Played across by Casher. Malcolm. That heads out. It belongs to Rio Grande Valley in the 36th minute.
Frustration's hitting hard for Colorado Springs. Malcolm getting frustrated with his teammate. He expected him to do a through ball. They didn't read minds correctly. They didn't communicate. But it's just shown that Colorado isn't connecting the way they want to, isn't connecting the way they potentially will the next couple of games. Granted, they're obviously coming fresh. Obviously, they're getting used to each other. But it's coming to show that they're not cohesive just yet, unfortunately.
Luna wasn't able to keep it for Rio Grande Valley. Here's Tae-Song Kim. Now Jackson, unable to get off his line in time back in the 18th minute. Ball headed back to him, not enough pace, and put in by Memo Rodriguez, the lone goal of the game. Ward to the feet of Luna. Here he is again. Let's see what Monroy can do.
It's exciting every single time he touches the ball.
Monroy just did run over it, but he does earn the corner kick, as running alongside him was young Pascal Ebusi. The 19-year-old puts it over the end line, and for RGV, a corner kick.
I will notice the last play we had developing, Luna came back well. He checked to the ball, but Luna's been quiet so far. He hasn't had many opportunities. He hasn't received the ball with the back to his goal. We need to see more of that connection play with Monroy, who's been so dangerous so far.
Service. Same from Magalhaes. Kai Green. Another opportunity for RGV. They walk into the box. Monroy is there in the area trying to keep it in front along with Rodriguez. Monroy backing away from goal, keeping it himself. Ward lofts it over the defense. That's tapped through and out of play. Jackson never had to make the save, and Escalante proving electric again.
Escalante created that run from the right side. He cut in, and Ward with the beautiful ball. That could have been a very similar goal that we had in the first half. Escalante, again, proving to be a very dangerous winger. Curious to see what the possession stats are going to be at halftime, Mike. It's clear that we're looking at least 65-35, but, I mean, it's changed.
Turned over to Luna. Sliding challenge. Suggs still trying to keep it away. Ball lofted over the box. It comes back towards Escalante, but takes the hop into Argueta. Argueta hit from behind. And Memo Rodriguez guilty of the foul, and Argueta looks hard done.
That's always a dangerous play. Whenever you have someone who's going to launch the ball across the field and you have someone from behind stepping in, interfering, you're looking potentially for an injury, hopefully not. But in this case, he's up and strong. Argueta, the Prince, is in the midfielder. He needs to receive the ball more. He needs to do more of what he's doing. He's really showed up in the last 5-10 minutes. As we see the replay here, I mean, he's setting to set himself up to launch the ball across the field. That could have been caught. He could have been injured. So that's a little bit of a dangerous play.
Green knocks it out. Bird there to poke it away, and off to the races, Rio Grande Valley. Nice pass to find Luna. Luna had an option, and it quickly fell apart as Ebusi was the last to touch it. A corner coming, but could have been so much more.
Hesitation. He hesitated a little bit. He waited that extra 2 seconds to pass the ball. He had a nice little through ball potential for the incoming striker, but unfortunately he waited too long.
If I had to guess what Gonzalez was just gesturing with his hand.
Most likely through ball. Release it quicker. But no, I mean, he took a little long, Luna. At least there was he yielded a corner kick. Not all was lost.
We'll see if they can come up with anything on this ensuing corner. They scored in the 18th, now into the 41st minute. Ward, high deflection over the box and cleared out. Green trying to wind it into the corner. Kept by the Toros. Monroy coming on. Sliding challenge to take the ball away, and then a little extra contact on the way to try and reclaim the ball for RGV. It's Taylor Hunter, who was the guilty party, and outraces the trainer. And there goes her walkie-talkie. This has been an endeavor now.
Mike, you mentioned Monroy and his experience only being 18 years old. I mean, looking into his background, you have to understand he has won a title in Colombia with Cali. America de Cali is one of the biggest teams in Colombia. For a player at that age to have won, even being a participant of the team, it could be obviously a rookie, he could be a young player in the team, but that experience correlates into what we're seeing today. He's at an edge. He has an edge above other players. He's quicker. He's penetrating runs. He has confidence, which is what you need in a striker. I see an incredible future for him in any potential team he plays in the future.
This is 7 in orange that he's speaking about on that left-hand forward position in this 4-3-3. Milo Monroy making his second start with Rio Grande Valley. Abusi plays it into space. A little too strong. Restarted quickly by the former player in the Spanish Segunda B division, Borja Angoitia.
That's a tongue twister, Mike.
It requires a second look sometimes. Lifted down again, and Angoitia will have it again.
There you go.
Played the PDL last year with FC Tucson and even the Ocean City FC Nor'easters. He played his college ball at Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac on the women's basketball side having a surprising run in the NCAA tournament. And for Angoita, he was the MAC goalkeeper of the year during his time at QU up in Connecticut. Lofted towards Hunter, who keeps it. And RGV tries to double their lead in the closing minutes of the opening half. Ward. And now Bird. He's scored some monstrous goals for this franchise in its first year. Green switches the attack, and it falls. The shot is in! Memo Rodriguez has a double! What a finish! 2-0 RGV.
Let's see that development play here from Monroy. He taps it in with the head. Unfortunate mistake by Colorado Springs defender, and sets Memo Rodriguez up with a full powerful shot, upper 90. Beautiful strike. I mean, we can't ask for more from Rodriguez here. I mean, exceptional finish.
And he is, in truth, extraordinarily unlucky that the #1 play on SportsCenter yesterday was former switchback Miguel Gonzalez, or he'd be up for goal of the week in the USL. But that may have already been taken. 2 goals in the game. What a performance he's put together.
And what a time to score for RGV. I mean, last minutes of the first half. I mean, when you're going into the locker room up 2-0 instead of 1, that's so powerful. That gives you confidence. Obviously, that allows you to sit back for a second for the next couple of minutes.
Burt got it back. It's kicked by Ward and cleared by RGV. And a kick from Shane Malcolm.
Overall, I mean, great showing from both teams. I mean, Colorado Springs has really picked up the last 10-15 minutes of the first half. They really developed from their first minutes of play, but you got to give it to RGV. RGV has really played well the entire game.
1 minute of added time. For a second there, if you don't even turn the board on, is that 0 minutes of added time in the first half? Ball brought down and spun out Luna. Yeah, King really took the brunt of that, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a hard hit.
Yeah, he's still down. Colorado Springs didn't exactly bring a full roster. They only brought 5 available substitutions for this game. Of course, they're only allowed 3 this year, unlike last season. They could add 5. King is down. And they're allowing this first half to extend just a little bit further for James to try and get service in for the Switchbacks.
Tough challenge here. I mean, they both went in really, really hard. Oh, he got the ankle. He caught the ankle. It turned a little bit. So King, unfortunately, got the brunt of that one.
Trichu looks on, his team trailing 2-0. It is James. And we've reached halftime. How about Memo Rodriguez? How about RGV at home? Terrific performance. They look for their first win on these home grounds at HEB Park. And Albert Munoz, I don't think you could have asked for a better performance from that young man or this team on the whole. They really did dominate this half.
Thoroughly impressed. A lot of flair, a lot of creativity. My type of soccer, a lot of technical soccer. It's great to watch. It's fun. You see these finishes here. Obviously, this all comes down to creativity. You see something that's just out of the ordinary, where you're seeing players come out of the box, stay out of, really play at their level, increase their pace. They're playing well together. They seem to be having a lot of fun. So it's great to watch.
Won the tap, won the hammer. Doesn't matter which way he chose to do it. Memo Rodriguez could do no wrong in the opening half. When we come back, we take a look around the league and a look at the Rio Grande Valley schedule. A lot of home games coming to HEB Park. These fans will have a lot to be excited about. It's 2-0 RGV over Colorado Springs at the half. Halftime between Colorado Springs Switchbacks and RGVFC, and it's the home side with a dominant performance in the opening 45, and Memo Rodriguez a 2-0 lead. Mike Watts back with Albert Munoz. Let's take a look forward at what RGVFC sees on their upcoming calendar, and it's a lot of home games. They've got Tulsa coming up next. David Vaudreuil's team looking very good. Jimmy Nielsen's OKC Energy on the heels of that Miguel Gonzalez goal. Their first win, Swope Park, the defending conference champions. LA Galaxy 2, the defending champions of a year ago. And then at Sacramento Republic, who saw their 14-game unbeaten streak snapped yesterday in the USL Game of the Week on E3 and on SiriusXM FC. But 4 consecutive home games. That's 1/3 of your home games in a 5-game stretch. If you don't get points from that, you could look back in September and wonder why you're not in the playoffs. That would be it. This is big for RGV.
I would agree. That's exactly what we were talking about before. Having the advantage of playing 4 straight games at home, that brings momentum. That obviously gives you the crowd. That gives you that hype. The consecutive mentality going into the same stadium week after week, knowing that you're playing obviously at home. It's simple. It's logic. You're gonna have momentum build up, but you need to take advantage of those games. You need to get those points in as fast as possible, because, like you said, you will potentially look back and regret that if you don't get those home points.
So 15 available home points in this home stand, and 4 very tough opponents coming up after this one. 3 playoff teams in this stretch from last year's 2016 USL Cup playoffs. At halftime, RGV is off to a terrific start in their endeavor to try and pick up those first 3. It's RGV 2, Colorado Springs 0. When we return, a look around the league's highlights of the day, not just on SportsCenter, it's off the field too. We tell you about it when we come back.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Last week at San Antonio FC, the USL Experience completed a second year of unprecedented success. The USL Experience provides Super Y League players with a comprehensive look into the North American professional landscape, where they can experience life as a pro at a level never before visited.
No, we're really pleased to host the USL Experience here in San Antonio. The players get to experience what it's like to be a professional player. They've interacted well with our current players over lunch, and we're looking forward to watching them play. I know they've trained this morning, and looking forward to the games this evening, and as a staff we're looking forward to watch them play.
The USLX event has given our players a great opportunity to participate and play against players from all across the nation, which serves as a great development opportunity for our kids. Obviously, Texas is a big state, but when you get the opportunity to play against kids from across the nation, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity right now at their age groups.
Rewind to the inaugural 2016 USL Experience hosted by FC Cincinnati. During halftime of the River Cities Cup versus Louisville City FC, USL Experience players walked out onto the field in front of a 20,000 capacity crowd at Nippert Stadium and were recognized as the future of the game. That's not happening anywhere else in the country. A year in the making, the USL Experience at San Antonio FC looked to build on the accomplishments of FC Cincinnati and achieved great success with a 2017 event unlike anything else currently available to youth players. During the event, these athletes experienced a full media day, including professional photo shoots, press conferences, and interviews conducted by USL Experience and San Antonio FC staff in stadium suites overlooking the beautiful Toyota field. The experience intensified as players stepped onto the pitch for the first time, flying through competitive training sessions conducted by invited Super Y coaches who continued to evaluate players throughout the event. College coaches and U.S. Soccer Federation scouts attended USL Experience matches as the players challenged the San Antonio FC ETP and Rio Grande Valley Academy teams. In addition to their own match experience, players witnessed firsthand the professional matchday experience of San Antonio FC, which included access to a closed-door training session, lunch with the first team, and the opportunity to learn tactics from head coach Darren Powell in a strategy session before the season home opener. The 2017 USL Experience culminated in spectacular fashion as players celebrated San Antonio FC's first home triumph of the season with a 3-0 victory over LA Galaxy 2. By providing an event such as this, the USL has become a leader through its commitment to youth development. The USL experience is breaking barriers by making professional soccer and the professional dream more accessible. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Back for RGV and Colorado Springs Switchbacks halftime 2-0 in favor of the Fighting Memo Rodriguez's. Mike Watts and Albert Munoz back from HEB Park. Let's talk about the big storylines around the USL today, and they are abound. Massive day for the United Soccer League. USL Television Network was announced. 10 million homes in 17 markets. More on that on USLsoccer.com. Louisville City has announced a new stadium site just blocks away from Slugger Field. 10,000-seat stadium. Renderings are available online. Can't miss it, LouisvilleCityFC.com. Nashville enters the league next year. Gary Smith, an MLS Cup champion, has been named their first head coach. And then that top one, Didier Drogba, 39 years old, will be the oldest player to appear in a game in the USL this year. Once he arrives, he's part owner of Phoenix Rising now. He hopes to take them to MLS, but what a huge name to bring into the USL this year.
Incredible news, Mike. Didier Drogba, a player that we all watched growing up. He has been our hero, even though he's only a couple years older than our generation. He's accomplished so much in the European leagues. He's a world-class player. Obviously, he's going to bring his presence, his intelligence, obviously his network to the USL. This is a glorious day for the leagues, for America, obviously, for all our soccer fans. Didier Drogba, I mean, what can I say? All-time top scorer for the Ivory Coast national team, World Cup superstar. We're really excited to watch him.
How about that front line now in Phoenix? Omar Bravo, Didier Drogba, and Sean Wright Phillips.
Jesus.
Can't wait to have them come to Rio Grande Valley, huh?
Superstar squad there. Absolutely. I mean, can we say tickets? Can we say uniforms? Can we say sold-out crowds? I mean, it's going to be a lineup to watch.
Yeah, what an exciting time it is for Phoenix with that new stadium they built in 53 days' time. So plenty of headlines around the league. Make sure to stay in with USLsoccer.com. And, of course, on Monday nights, USL Coast to Coast on SiriusXM FC Channel 85, 9 p.m. They'll take calls and talk about all the news in the league. Halftime here, 2-0 in favor of RGV. Highlights and stats when we return. Halftime, Albert Munoz joining me, Mike Watts, HEB Park. 2-0 in favor of Rio Grande Valley FC over Colorado Springs. And Rio Grande Valley appeared to really dominate that first half. We look back at our highlights and statistics from the opening 45 minutes of this one. Let's start with the highlights, Albert. And from the outset, RGV at home looking for their first win in their new stadium. putting the pressure on Colorado Springs.
Definitely a great show by RGV in the first 20-30 minutes. Absolutely skillful flair from these attacking players. Escalante with a great shot. We have Memo Rodriguez creating obviously danger. Everyone from Luna, from Monroy, Escalante, just creating a lot of danger for the defensive side on Colorado Springs. As we see here, Escalante with his second opportunity of the game. Very similar plays. He's a very, very dangerous player. But then Colorado also brought something to the table. I mean, obviously, we had a couple of players really come out. Cashier here with an opportunity. But overall, RGV, as you see here, Memo Rodriguez just poaching, pressuring. He created that goal out of nothing, basically.
That in the 18th minute, his first goal of the season. He led the team in scoring last year. He's able to do it that way. But what does he do here that allows him to get the goal?
Well, I mean, he anticipated it. He had the vision, obviously. He beat the defender. He saw that he was going to head it back to the goalie. And it's just cheekiness, like I mentioned before. He had a tap on the goal. Beautiful play, beautiful development here.
Monroy nearly putting it in. The 18-year-old Colombian really standing out in this first half, but doesn't have a goal to show for it yet. That from Chris James. And this, the play that leads to opportunity and a double for Memo Rodriguez in the 44th.
Monroy, Rodriguez combining with excellent play here. Beautiful power shot, beautiful display of soccer here from RGV.
Rio Grande Valley holding a significant advantage in our opinions on the field, but the possession a little bit shocking to us. I think Rio Grande Valley, we talked about it during the halftime, I thought it would be a little higher for them.
Very surprising. I mean, we felt RGV had at least 65-35 in possession. But you know what? We have to give it to the Switchbacks. They came up in the second half. Towards the end, they really increased their pressure. They increased their momentum. And I guess this is deserving. But we'll see what the second half brings, Mike.
Possession 50-50, but it's those shots on target that are very much in RGV's favor. Just minutes away from kicking off the second half for Colorado Springs, third in the West the last 2 years. A win and 2 draws to start. Their win was actually a loss that was reversed due to a ineligible player for Tulsa in the opener, as their offense, which was terrific in the final 5 games of last season, has started slowly again. They'll get the ball first, and maybe that man will be the one to change the narrative for Colorado Springs. Can King score, perhaps, and bring these Switchbacks back within 1 early in the second half and make a game of it? Underway, the orange shirts of RGV, right to left, the white and gray of Colorado Springs, left to right.
Colorado with the ball. I mean, showing a little incentive here to take possession of the ball early on. But RGV obviously will intercept, as they've done all game, and created their possession here so far.
And they've got 3 players swarming to the ball to help take it away.
That's what it seems like. Every single time Colorado Springs has the ball, they have 2 or 3 RGV defenders or attackers coming in to swarm off the ball. That's tactical. That's great. That means they're pressure. They're playing together, and that's going to outpace any team.
King puts it off the post, and it's put back in. Colorado Springs comes right out of the gate and scores, and it's Chris James scoring his first as a member of the Switchbacks.
Mike, you called it. You said King could be the player, that decisive player that can make the difference. King started that play. Great executed header. It hit off the post, and absolutely great run by James. He came in through the back. James definitely finished like a striker, even though he's a midfielder. So exceptional play from Colorado Springs here.
So a minute into the second half, Colorado Springs has the goal to bring it back within 1. And now if you're the Switchbacks, getting a point on the road doesn't seem all that daunting anymore.
Right, and it's only, obviously we have a whole second half. So this is an exceptional time for them to score. Great stuff from Colorado Springs. This will definitely change the pace of the game.
The Switchbacks last year had a point where they hadn't scored 2+ games in over 2+ goals in 1 game in over 2 months' time, and then in 4 of their last 5 regular season games, they scored 2 or more. 10 goals in that 5-game span. It looked like they had clicked everything together, but a lot of changes in the offseason There were questions as to how quickly Colorado Springs could put this offense back together. As a goal kick coming for the Switchback goalkeeper Dan Jackson, who dealt with a wrist injury last year, the local product out of Denver.
I'm expecting to see a different Colorado Springs after this goal. They're going to take this momentum to potentially try to secure a second and a tie. RGV just needs to continue playing the way they played in the first half. They need to get all the offensive attackers together, continue creating, and this should definitely be an entertaining second half.
Pressure coming again, and here comes King. Already put one off the post, plays it wide to James. And now Malcolm stepping over, he gets pulled down. They're looking for a whistle, and it never came.
That was a foul. That was a clear foul. I mean, that would have been an opportunity to get a cross off here, but the referee didn't see it, I guess.
2-1 in favor of RGV here. RGV trying to jump in the standings over Colorado Springs in week number 4. St. Louis will enter the weekend top of the East with their 2-1 win in Pittsburgh over the Riverhounds tonight. These are the only 2 games being played in the USL this evening. Sliding challenge, advantage played. Ward still being pushed and really screaming for help. That's Escalante, who's slapping the field in pain.
Dangerous play there. I mean, it was an advantage play from the previous foul. The referee let him play, but then second foul on Escalante, as you see here, rough tackle here. Well, I mean, he was brought down, but it seems like he landed improperly on his shoulder. And then Luna getting a couple of tackles here, and also some shoulder rubs here from the defender from Colorado Springs.
And now they'll take a look at Escalante and see how available he'll be for the remainder. Out of Honduras, a 20-year-old tweeting tonight, "Vamos Toros, 3 more tonight." Well, right now they're in position to do so. But this early goal by Colorado Springs may be turning the tide a little bit.
Yes, it's definitely increased their momentum. And now they have obviously that closeness to score that second goal. I mean, the aggressive showing here is definitely the reflection of that goal.
Josh Suggs picks up a yellow card for Colorado Springs for that challenge. He only had 2 yellow cards all of last season, it should be noted. And Escalante, who began on loan from Olympia in Honduras, eventually to Houston and Rio Grande Valley, shaking hands with the center back he spent most of his time with this evening.
Great sportsmanship, though. Shake hands after a tackle like that, I wouldn't want to shake your hand.
Escalante is a better man than us. This ball played in, and running into contact of Abusi, it was Memo Rodriguez who was looking for a third.
Yeah, he wasn't going to pull that off.
No, that would have been difficult.
Correct.
No one gets by Abusi. Here comes a shot for Ward. He just put it wide. And make it Luna who took that effort and just did put it wide of the post.
We see the replay here with Luna. He finally came to play. The great striker turned. He created himself an opportunity with his right foot. Powerful shot. Unfortunately, it was just wide, but interesting play here by Luna.
Back up field by Sagal. And that had gotten out, so it belongs to Colorado Springs. There's the goal scorer for the roadside. 46th minute, Chris James.
Now, the dangerous situation for Colorado Springs is knowing that every single one of the attacking players from CGV RGV, sorry, could essentially create an opportunity out of nothing. So at any given moment, players like Luna who could turn and take a shot could score on you, a goal on you. Players like Escalante could score on you. Monroy could create an opportunity and score. I mean, it's got to be a headache for the defensive field here for Colorado Springs today.
Switchbacks were able to pick Monroy's pocket. Now the question is, can they bring the ball and make it dangerous? Malcolm swarmed by a pair of players. He'll stay with the Switchbacks, but the immediate danger cleared out. Tae-Song Kim, the guilty party this time around.
It's interesting to see how Ward and Bird are going to match up here the second half. They've been linking up really well the first half for RGV, but their legs at one point have to give. So hopefully they'll get their technical soundness increased to make sure that they pass the ball more instead of having to dribble so much. But either way, Bird has done exceptional, holding the ball well, creating like a true attacking midfielder, setting up players like Monroy, who's been dangerous. So RGV will capitalize on their legs in the midfield.
Too far for Rodriguez, who appreciates the effort. Comes down to Taylor Hunter. Spent time with Colorado Springs a couple of years ago. This ball bouncing towards Luna. All the effort to keep it, plays it back. Rodriguez running down the middle. Bounds out, there was pressure. Bird getting it wide again. And here comes the service, lifted over the box, and there was nobody making the run. 3 players, all in dangerous positions, but none were moving towards the net.
Correct. I mean, he might have held the ball a little longer and maybe looked for a short pass. I'm not sure what he was attempting there, but ultimately the cross was great, but unfortunately there was no one there to capitalize.
Abusi seeking out King.
Again with the possession. Every single time the ball's loose, it seems to go to RGV's players. And why is that? It's not luck, guys. It's because they're positioned well.
What a save as Luna drives it into Dan Jackson.
Luna heard me. He's been more active in the second half. We need more of him. He's come out just from being a player that plays to his back. He's also checked back, turned, created opportunities for himself, and he's taking more shots. So it's absolutely great to see him do this. He's going to receive the ball here well, and he's going to create the opportunity by turning and shooting. Not only that, he's shooting with his left foot. He's very versatile. He can actually shoot with his left foot really well as well.
Comes out to Ward. Swerves in across, falls to Magalhaes, plays it back. The shot from Monroy is over. All of a sudden, RGV looks like they have settled back in this second half.
Aggressive play again. I mean, they're possessing the ball, they're turning well, they're taking shots, they're creating. That's all that matters. That's what we want to see from these players. Junior Gonzalez needs to be very, very happy knowing that his creative players are coming to play tonight. Players like Monroy, who'll definitely create something in the next couple of minutes out of nothing, which is what we want to see.
Does seem like he's got a little bit of a timer element to him. Every couple minutes he's due for something. Played long towards Rodriguez again. Continues to shake his thumb in the air. He's got the 2 goals tonight for Rio Grande Valley. Abusi's pass for Bird nearly picked off.
That was dangerous. He had Monroy hanging around there.
Tae-Song Kim headed down towards James, gets all the way through, and King wasn't able to corral it. Kept up by Bird through the legs of Rodriguez. Suggs trying to make his run inside of Cashier.
Interesting lead up by Colorado Springs. A little bit of technical flair there by the attackers. They were actually possessive of the ball for at least 5 or 6 touches before they try to get a shot on goal through King. Sorry.
There's Tae-Sung Kim. Initially trained with FC Dallas and was recommended to Steve Tritchu through a friend who happened to be an agent. And Tae-Sung Kim has really stood out since. James deflects that off of Ward. When you look at these coaches, they just build rosters from a wide array of parts.
It's complex to be a coach.
Very. And making a nice run, Burt into the box. This ball slid across, coming up and pulling it down is the Spaniard, Angoitia. And Rodriguez trying to hold the ball as it was simply blasted down in his direction. Abusi plays this off of Rodriguez.
Very smart play there by Abusi. Yielding the goal kick, which has been put back into play immediately, which is great from Colorado Springs. It shows a lot of aggressiveness, trying to get back into play because they want to develop the ball. They want to try to get the ball from RGV, but they just can't, unfortunately.
Ball sliced through. Rodriguez comes down to Abusi, who is apparently made of all limb. Ward. Escalante. And the wires were crossed with Luna. Switchbacks attacking a defense for RGV that seems very much set. Malcolm cuts by Hunter. The two competing at the final moment, and it's Hunter who's whistled for touching it last, a corner.
Is that Malcolm or Kobe Jones? 1993 Redlocks.
That's really not even a dated reference either.
Jesus, I'm so old.
Chris James to take this quarter. He's got the lone goal in the 46th for Colorado Springs. Bounds back. King seeds. That ball lifted over. It was a Cashier. And Escalante's day is done for Rio Grande Valley, and they go to Todd Wharton, who came into this game leading the team in chances, if you can believe it, with just 4.
Interesting substitute, taking out a player like Escalante, who's been, I'd say, pretty active in the second half. Either he's obviously feeling a little exhausted, or you want to rest him for the next game, or they want to give Warden a chance with fresh legs. But a great showing by Escalante, created a lot of opportunities and flair up front for RGV.
And Escalante was attended to a couple minutes ago by the training staff, a tackle that he took at midfield, but it didn't appear like he was really hampered by it late.
Sometimes the pain comes out a little later, Mike.
Yeah. And the hour mark seems like a pretty straightforward time, so RGV does use their first of 3 available substitutions in the 60th, moving into the 61st minute.
Playing a formation of 4-3-3 does exhaust your legs as a midfielder. So he's playing winger, he's playing right mid, he's also playing defensive back. So a player like Escalante, who has been worked all game, deserves a rest. It's most likely a combination of the injury he might have. Warden will come in fresh legs and really work the right side, bring some fresh legs to the game. He can make a difference here in the middle.
Seeking out Memo Rodriguez. Hunter. There's Wharton. And for Colorado Springs, they started this year in a 4-3-3, went to a 4-5-1, and back to the 4-3-3 again. And really the change here, they're back to that 4-3-3, is Colorado Springs attacking now, played into James. His first touch lets him down, and Ward has it. And Ward clears it away. What have you seen from that 4-3-3?
Right, it could be experimentation. Maybe they're trying to really feel themselves out, see whether players are really going to flourish in a 4-5-1 or a 4-3-3. 4-3-3, in my opinion, has always been a very difficult tactical lineup because of the amount of energy you have to expense as a midfielder. The center midfielder is crucial because you're playing two ways all times. 4-5-1, you have a lot of support in the midfield.
Here's
So
a shot that finds the goalkeeper. Easy for Angoitia.
So it's very different. I mean, it's a matter of seeing what works well game after game. They might have to use this opportunity to change a couple of times and also see how the players develop in those lineups. But ultimately, whatever works in their favor is what they're going to be using.
Phillips arguing the point. He's shown yellow. He's the second defender for Colorado Springs to go into the book with a caution. Phillips picks up the yellow for knocking down Eric Bird.
Yeah, rough play there from Phillips. I mean, he's very intimidating in the back. Just making his presence being felt. He wants to make sure that they understand that he's not messing around today.
So Phillips in the 63rd minute of play. Into the 64th, and that chance to restart play, you would think switching the field would be a good idea, but there really wasn't a lot of room over there either had he gotten the ball.
And you could tell a lot of frustration from the attackers. They want the ball played to their feet on the ground. They want a short ball. They want to touch the ball around, which you could say is most likely going to mesmerize the defense. So when you see a long ball played out that way, it's a little frustrating for a teammate.
Especially the way we've seen RGV play much of this game. Now, there have been a more consistent set of long balls as this is a nice game of hacky sack. Sagal bounces this down to Rodriguez, and finally the ball finds the ground, and Bird flies downfield. He's going to run by Abusi. Abusi sets back up. Bird plays it down the center. It's Monroy going to his left. It deflects off the post and in. His first goal with RGV, and it's 3-1. 3-1 in the 65th.
Delightful play here by Bird, combination with Monroy. Monroy at one point seems like he was holding up the ball too long, but like any cheeky player, he came out on top. Cut the ball, created his space, dragged a couple of defenders, and just took a whopping shot to the right post, which obviously went in. It was a spectacular shot, good for the youngster.
Monroy's second start, and he was due for that all game long.
Oh yeah, ever deserving. A lot of flair from this youngster, potential for the future. Great finish. Confidence level all-time high at this point.
And look, you could argue potential for the future, but for this RGV team looking forward to this year, he's shown that potential right now.
Absolutely. He's paying dividends, you might say. Just a joy to watch. A lot of youth, a lot of flair. I enjoy it. I'm sure you're enjoying it too, Mike.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the capital appreciation and the dividends. I'm enjoying it all. Through ball, Bird stepping over, plays it back towards the center. Luna turns. Could there be a fourth in the offing for RGV? Last year there were times where they blew teams away, and it appears they're trying to do it here against the Colorado Springs side that appeared destined to get back into it after coming out of halftime with a goal in the first minute of the second half. Suggs pushed down by Monroy. And there's your substitution for Colorado Springs, their first. Massa Kacher on his way out, the 21-year-old Algerian. And he gives way for Sion McFarlane, the Jamaican who turned 24 back on April 4th. And a second substitution as well. For Colorado, it's Park checking in for Chris James, who scored his first goal as a switchback in the 46th.
Crucial substitutes, great timing. The remaining of the game has to be high pressure for Colorado Springs. They really have no alternative at this point, Mike. They're bringing in fresh legs. They're making their subs. They're strategically making sure that they're getting their attackers into play now. Park was going to bring, obviously, a lot of movement up top. And McFarlane, of course, that's the striker. He potentially can bring a goal to this side if he connects well.
You can't help but feel a little shorthanded if you're Colorado Springs. Not only did they not bring a full complement of available substitutes, only 5, but among those they did not include Kayvon Frater and Connor Bevins, 2 forwards. The guy we have yet to see come in for Colorado Springs in this one, Luke Vercoloni, who is available off the bench, an MVP candidate 2 years ago. Wharton, hang on, but to Bird taking over. Tae-Sung Kim was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Bird rolled him over.
A lot of activity from Bird. I mean, he's been crucial, especially with the last goal he assisted, but a lot of work from him. I mean, would it be surprising if he takes a rest in the next 5 to 10 minutes just for strategic play? Not because he hasn't worked really well, but he's done really, really exceptional today, combining with the attackers.
He's played every minute so far this year, and minutes for him are a lot harder than minutes for most, the way he decides to play. Kai Green overrunning the ball and scissoring it further upfield. Played through, long run, held in by Burt. That's off of the goalkeeper, Angoitia, and it's a corner for Colorado Springs. How about Burt, the outside back, finding his way into the 6-yard area?
I was just going to mention, dangerous cross there. I mean, he almost had a ricochet into the goal. The defender off to the goalie.
And on the restart, Monroy coming, Park collecting, Wharton retreating, Phillips quickly passing, Green heading, Kai Green clears the ball downfield.
Something wrong with that. Sometimes Green or a defender needs to really pump the ball upfield to open up the space. Sometimes coming up the field through possession isn't the smartest way. I mean, sometimes you need a break. You want to obviously break free of the momentum of the repetition.
Burt through ball. King is coming. Angoita really didn't get a great look at that. He ends up recovering in time.
A little dangerous there. So back and forth. The game's going back and forth pretty rapidly. Both teams are having possession, but Colorado Springs in the last few minutes has created a couple dangerous chances. As you can see, the last play, players like King, obviously, who've been working off the ball, they're allowing their midfielders to come up with the ball to create space for them. So it's at this point, if they score a goal, it's going to be even a better match, and it's going to be obviously an opportunity for them to tie the game.
And I should note that Chris James is still in the game, and apparently I misread the sign at midfield. It was Shane Malcolm who came out for Colorado Springs, rather, a few moments ago. So Malcolm and Casher, the two players, the two wing players in this 4-3-3 who took a seat. Aguilez into the bleachers. And here comes King trying to dance back into the box. Burt. Service low. What a save by Angoita. And he picks it up. That could have been something for Colorado Springs and McFarland.
First touch of the game, basically, by McFarland. Could have been a very dangerous shot there. Wow, he was wide open. He actually had a chance with his left foot. That was a great chance by him.
It looked to be going in, no?
Yeah, it was going in. Keeper stopped it well.
Ruben Luna, captain's armband, shakes the official's hand, and he is on his way off. He does not score against Colorado Springs for the first time in 3 games in opposition of the Switchbacks. But his team has a 3-goal-to-1 lead.
I would say great work from Luna up top. A lot of presence, a lot of experience. Did his job, created some scoring opportunities, but his day's done today.
Bird, kick save, kept out by Jackson. Rodriguez fires, and it's just wide. He was looking for the hat trick.
Great patience there by Memo. Memo saw the ball bouncing. As you see the replay here, he saw the ball bouncing, coming out on a lob. He took his time. He set up. Look how long he took to set up. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, and he bounced it, and he timed it well. Great opportunity, great shot by Memo Rodriguez.
Will there be a quick response? Colorado Springs. Or will it be for RGV? That header went right back to Bird. Yellow card to Abusi.
Talk to him.
Junior Gonzalez, I think, wants to know why that wasn't advantage played, and I think the referee is pointing to himself there. So 3 members of the Switchback back line are playing on yellows.
That's always a challenge for a team. I mean, especially in the last 20 minutes of the game. A Bird who's ever active, I mean, he's just creating chaos for these defenders. When you have so many yellow cards in the back line, that just provokes a lot of conservative play from Colorado Springs to be smart so they won't get red carded at this point.
That's the one guy who isn't playing on a yellow. Bird. Colorado Springs will get the goal kick. For the Switchbacks, you look forward. They host Real Monarchs coming in from Salt Lake on Saturday. Then they're at Reno, and then a couple home games. Seattle Sounders 2 and the Roughnecks of Tulsa. That Real Monarchs game could really be something. They have some kind of attacking force. Very similar in talent level to this Rio Grande Valley side. Chandler Hoffman, Sebastian Velasquez, Chase Minter. They are some kind of dangerous Real Monarchs, and they're off to a perfect start. Here's Bird. Service, he's able to pick out his target. He put it off the crossbar. Nearly a terrific finish by Kyle Murphy. It appears only the post is going to rob RGV of a 4th goal tonight.
Exceptional cross by Bird. I mean, I thought it was a little far, but it turned out to be Murphy making that run. Murphy, believe it or not, that's a very difficult ball to strike out of the air with the inside of the foot. It almost has like a volley pass. I mean, instead of, and you see the replay here, the cross, exceptional cross, a one-time shot. Usually you enter it with the strike, with the instep of the foot, but he hit it with the inside. Sorry, the instep of the foot, but he hit it with the inside of the foot, which is very difficult to do. So praise to him. That was a great shot. Great opportunity.
Well, here comes Murphy again. Murphy putting the defender on his backside.
The defender's worst nightmare, believe me.
RGV right now isn't just winning against Colorado Springs. They're stunting on one of the best defensive teams in this league 2 years running.
That just comes to show how much talent this team really has. They're just dangerous. Every time they get the ball, they have to retract. They have to come back and really set themselves up so they won't get scored on.
Played through. Murphy didn't get there in time. Bird still pushing. Argueta, whose name has been ominously quiet. King finding Burt. Burt still possessing the ball. Hunter won it away and lined off of the outside back's foot.
Burt showing some flair there, penetrating the defense. He's been working really hard today. Unfortunately, he hasn't had much support on the right side. He hasn't been able to really get a cross off to really create some danger. But overall, he's done exceptional on the work rate today.
This has been a really enticing game from the outset. You look forward to this weekend. Sacramento's Park out in the west will be terrific. In the east, Tampa and Louisville for first place in the Eastern Conference. St. Louis winning today is in first place, taking on FC Cincinnati at Nippert Stadium. And a great goal yesterday from Miguel Gonzalez, the former Switchback, to lead OKC Energy. Their first win of the year over Sacramento. This is a really good week on the schedule in the United Soccer League. And it's Luke Vercoloni waiting to come on for Jordan Burt, who in the last few minutes has maybe been the best attacking presence for this side.
He's spent. He looks like he needs a break. Vercoloni coming in with a lot of experience. Coloni's been around for many years in different leagues, doing well for many teams. So he's going to be a veteran presence here when he comes in for Colorado, the last push here of the game.
He's the third and final substitute. This was a team that made a change in their captaincy last year during this offseason. Vercoloni had been the captain, and now it's Ronnie Argueta. Vercoloni ceding the armband at age 34 out of Norwalk, Connecticut. 14 goals back in 2015 in the USL. And meanwhile, RGV will look to add to their 2-goal lead. Rodriguez, who has 2 of the 3 goals, is at the top of the box. Vercoloni, the header. Ball did find Rodriguez, but he was going the wrong way. Goita gets the ball. Cleared by Suggs. There's Kai Green. Played forward to start his senior year at Seton Hall. He had moved from midfield to defender. Murphy letting it through. Phillips going tit for tat with him and eventually taking the brunt of Murphy.
The pace of the game, Mike, has really slowed down in the last few minutes. As you see the replays, a lot of these fouls now are just reckless, and they're just exhaustion plays. I mean, he got clipped on the ankle. But they're really going to take their time now to get back in. Colorado really needs to pick up the pace moving forward. They need to really get upfield. They need to combine with the young players, the new fresh legs that came in. Hopefully they'll create some magic here in the last 10 minutes.
Sub in for Rio Grande Valley. That's Christian Lucatero. On season-long loan from Houston out of Pasadena, Texas. Good cheer for Memo Rodriguez. He does not get his hat trick, but he does finish with 2. This crowd really getting into it now. HEB Park could be a scary place to come in the playoffs when this place is packed. This midweek affair, still a solid gathering in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas.
This RGV team sounds like a youth team. I mean, they have a 19-year-old coming in now up front, also with Monroy, who's 18. I mean, you can't put a price on young, fresh legs. Lucatero, Mexican player, American player, ex-Mexican-American, sorry, is going to bring a lot of flair to this team. They're going to give him a few minutes today. We're going to see what he could do. But I have a feeling that he's going to have a very technical presence along with Memo and Monroy up top.
All thrown in to the feet. King, back for Park. King again, Ward taking advantage of the poor touch. Lucatero. Got the flex out. Trichu trying to keep things moving quickly, tossing it to Vercoloni, who's proven to be one of his best commodities during their run in the USL together. That went up and hit the hand of Eric Bird.
Dangerous set piece for Colorado Springs here. Find the head of King potentially. I feel that in the last few minutes, this is the type of opportunity they're going to have to create an opportunity on goal. Set pieces. I mean, looking for their tall strikers. King, who's been on fire with his head. Hopefully they finalize a chance or two to make this really a spicy game, even though it's been amazing so far.
Bird trying to put it out of reach. Abusi, the classy touch necessary, but the pass was off target. Now Abusi has left a little bit of a hole here in the back line. Lucatero trying to add to the goal-scoring fun, goes to his left. Now he lifts the ball over the 6-yard box. And a goal kick coming as Monroy couldn't win the corner.
Lucatero looked like famous Brazilian Robinho with his step-overs. That brings a lot of flair to the game. A lot of these youthful Mexican, Colombian, Latin players, they like to really embellish their moves. Sometimes it's a little redundant, but a lot of times it brings a lot of fanaticism to the game. It really wakes you up. It really makes you really want to watch more of him touch the ball. So he seems to be the type of player that he's going to create something for RGV at any given moment.
Hunter playing it back to Ward, and Lucatero, a guy that I think a lot of people view as one of the better homegrowns that Houston has produced. The question is whether or not he can really put it all together at this level and work his way into Major League Soccer.
He has an advantage. He's 19 years old.
Only 19 years old. Lifted for Murphy. He gives up his chase. Junior Gonzalez, his team, very much the junior. You look up and down the roster, players on the field right now, 23, 22, 23, 18, 22, 23, 24, 23, 19. Remarkable.
Really comes to show what the next generation is going to look like, and the immediate generation. The next couple of years, these are players going to be in their prime. So the development they've had, as opposed to players 20 years ago that didn't have these leagues, obviously they didn't have the exposure, the games, the repetition. They're going to far away when it comes to their skill set, and they're going to be ready for any level moving forward at a much younger age.
And I spoke this week with the PR team for RGV, and they just said these players love playing here. They love playing in front of these crowds, playing on this field in particular.
They just simply look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
And that's half the battle for these teams. As long as the young players are having fun and they don't have that pressure, even though they have pressure, but they don't feel it because they're that talented and they're so used to the ambience and the environment, the stadiums, they're usually be playing better in fields like this anyways.
Monroy. Lucatero. Well, never really got that to snap down.
It's a shame they're only giving him a few minutes. If he had the full game, we'd see a lot of that whipping shot on his left foot. Dangerous player, Lucatero, you could just tell already. Just a couple of touches he's had in the game.
Lucatero hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity yet to show off with RGV this year. HEB Park was not ready last year as anticipated, but they wanted this to be ready for 30 years of soccer here. Abusi, curled cross, deflected out. Argueta putting it back in. King giving chase. Ward. I think that McFarland who had come upfield. Bird. Monroy. Here he goes, the fancy footwork.
The fans love it. They eat it all up. Analysis of the second half, now that we're in the final minutes, you can really say that RGV has been conservative. They've really touched the ball well. They've held possession. They've capitalized on their opportunities. They've scored. They're up 3-1. You could just tell now in the last few minutes they're relaxed. They're holding the ball. You have some flair and fancy work from our youngsters. So it's great soccer. Really pleased with both teams, but at the same time, RGV just outplayed Colorado Springs altogether today.
And you mentioned it earlier. Park went right over to Wharton and checked in on him after that foul. Would you have taken a handshake after that?
Yeah, I usually did. I have to admit, sportsmanship has been instilled in me since I was a young age. It's good to see it, as it should, right?
Well, RGV trying to both milk the clock and maybe get one more here to delight these home fans who have watched something special here tonight, start to finish. Kim. Park. Kim trying to provide for the overlapping run. Kicked out by Green.
Now, the tough decision for Junior Gonzalez moving forward in the season is knowing that he has so much access to such talent, right? How do you really combine a 4-3-3 attacking formation with only 3 slots up top with so much talent? How do you really mix it up?
Monroy to his right, fires, deflection out in front, sliding in, unable to knock it into the net. Murphy came as well, and the clearance by Argueta. And to your point, sometimes you just wish it could be a 4-2-4 and just let the forwards go crazy.
Exactly. I'm talking so much about their talent, and they interrupt my commentary because there's so much action going on. They're constantly trying to score a goal. It's incredible.
That time it was nearly Lucatero who was the beneficiary of Monroy's effort.
Exactly.
Vercoloni. Argueta providing presence across the midfield line. King. Park. McFarlane. And there's the whistle. The official had tried to play advantage, but didn't get the opportunity. So we're in stoppage time. We're going to have 3 minutes of it, which means Colorado Springs will almost assuredly need something here to try and make something at the end of this one.
It's a dangerous set piece. It's a close enough angle where he could get a good cross off for King, potentially get a head off the goal there.
King puts it down, and the bicycle kick effort from McFarlane is wide. I wonder if he watched SportsCenter this morning.
Incredible attempt there. I mean, that's exactly what any good striker would attempt to do. I mean, you have the ball in the air, you're back to the goal, you're going to have to get up. I mean, unfortunately, the timing's off there, but great attempt by McFarlane. That would have been a spectacular goal right after the last minutes of the game here.
Side foot pass came to Abusi. Abusi gets the ball right back off of Ward. And just not a very clean pass there either. Lucatero got a piece, but kept by Colorado Springs. Here comes RGV.
Will Wharton, fresh legs.
Will Wharton go for it? Murphy down the middle. Wharton plays it over the top for Monroy. Bird was there too. Everybody with fresh legs was moving in the same direction there. Green put back on his defense.
Gotta give it to a player like Bird, though. Bird has worked the entire duration of the game exceptionally well. Only midfielder in the game, I'd say, because Argueta from Colorado Springs has been more passive, very quiet, stagnant in the middle, but Bird has just worked up and down all games. A great game, in my opinion, from him. Great showing.
And for RGV?
I'm not gonna go out on a limb here, but I have to say so far it's the best team effort that I've seen individually and teamwork overall in this season so far.
And that's it, full time. Rio Grande Valley picks up its first win in its new digs, HEB Park. (3-1) over Colorado Springs, or is it? As RGV holding this advantage, but the official, despite pointing to midfield, play still continuing. The official blew, pointed to his watch, discussed with a player, pointed to midfield.
I guess he can't get enough of this game.
No?
He keeps seeing these chances.
Huh.
He saw Monroy with the ball. He's like, I'm going to give him another chance.
That's full time.
There he is.
Well, that'll do it. And this was certainly an interesting affair from the very beginning. Got to say RGV comes away with the deserved 3 points in this 3-1 win.
Oh, yeah. Exceptional play from the Texas team. I mean, absolutely outstanding showing. Technical, tactically, in every sense of the word, they've overpowered Colorado Springs.
So a 2-goal win, a 3-point bump in the standings, and RGV jumps Colorado Springs in the West. We'll look back on the highlights, take a look at the stats when we return. RGV FC behind the Memo brace. That's a 3-1 win over the Switchbacks. Rio Grande Valley picks up the win, 3-1 over Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and it's a terrific performance, maybe one of the best team performances we've seen now in 4 weeks. Rio Grande Valley jumps Colorado Springs in the standings with the win. Mike Watts with Albert Munoz. Let's take a look back at the highlights and statistics from this one. And from the outset, RGV seemed intent on forcing the action and picking up their first home win at HEB Park.
Yes, sir, Mike. They came out in the second half just like they did in the first half. They continued their possession game. Possession, and essentially taking over with opportunities such as this by Memo Rodriguez. The poacher, he came in, he read the play, he finished well. Just a dangerous player overall. He had a lot of opportunities throughout the game, and he capitalized on a couple.
That in the 18th minute, we move forward. Colorado Springs had their opportunities. James would score later, but not that time. This is the second goal by Rodriguez. If the first is a tap, this is a rip.
You're right. Monroy with the great head setup, but unfortunately a mistake by Colorado Springs. Set him up with the opportunity to take a shot, and he does not forgive the defender on that one.
That in the 44th minute, and it looked like RGV had a commanding advantage. Move forward to the 46th, then King heading it in off the crossbar. James there to clean it up.
Oh yeah, King doing what he knows best. I mean, he capitalizes with his feet, but at the same time, he has a dangerous header, and that's what he did here. Luna also a very prominent player in the first and second half. A lot of chances, a lot of flair from this RGV team. Both feet, right foot, left foot, he just started capitalizing on his sole opportunities. But we have Bird here with an exceptional pass here to Monroy, who in my opinion has been a surprise player in my eyes. Exceptional attempt, but capitalized like a veteran.
65th minute. This is first goal with RGV FC. Takes a deflection, doinks off the post, and Eric Bird doing the work to set up his 18-year-old counterpart among the attackers of this RGV team. And it was 3-1. That's how this would end. Despite some late efforts and some heroics from Engoita, that's saved from McFarland. We look back at our full-time statistics, Albert. This is a game where RGV holds a minimal possession advantage, but you would argue they really did dominate the performance.
Yeah, speaking at halftime, we had a 50-50 possession game here. Now, obviously, logically, we have RGV having a higher possession rate. Overall, it showed based on the capitalization when it comes to shots. They scored more goals. Ultimately, that's all that mattered, and they played exceptionally well. I'm very pleased with this team here, RGV.
So Rio Grande Valley picks up its second win of the year, their first at home, as they try and overcome their first season playoff performance and maybe get even further this year. They made a great run here today against Colorado Springs. For director Tom Piro, producer Alex Goldstein, Jason Brown, Larry Smith, Albert Munoz, our entire crew, Mike Watts saying so long. The Drummers are on the way out of HEB Park. They've got 3 points in their pocket. Final score, 3-1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.